Here are top 3 old inventions of history. Number 1, invention of bulb, were all it took to change the fate of humanity forever. Because the instant a small glass bulb glowed steadily in the darkness, night lost its ancient power and humans gained control over time itself. And long before cities shimmered with artificial light, before streets felt safe after sunset, before homes glowed warmly through the night, darkness ruled human existence with absolute authority, deciding when people could work, travel, gather, learn, or rest. Because for most of human history, the sun was the only reliable clock, and night was not peaceful or romantic but dangerous, cold, and filled with uncertainty. And this story does not begin with electricity or laboratories, but with fear, survival, and humanity's earliest struggle against darkness. Because when early humans first learned to control fire, light became more than warmth. It became protection, power, and hope, a way to push back predators, extend the day, and gather together. And for thousands of years, fire remained humanity's only defense against the night, carried in the fragile forms of torches, candles, and oil lamps that flickered weakly, burned unevenly, filled homes with smoke and soot, and constantly threatened devastating fires. And while these early sources of light slightly extended human activity beyond sunset, they never truly defeated darkness, because they were unreliable, expensive, and dangerous. And entire civilizations lived in rhythm with daylight, rising and sleeping according to the sun, until population growth, urbanization, and the industrial age pushed humanity to its limits. Because as cities grew larger and denser, darkness became more than an inconvenience. It became a deadly risk, fueling crime, accidents, and fires that could destroy entire neighborhoods overnight. And this growing danger transformed the search for safer and stronger light into a necessity rather than a luxury. And it was during this period of transformation that scientists began exploring a mysterious force that promised light without flame, electricity, a power that could produce illumination without smoke, heat, or burning fuel. An early experiment showed that when electric current passed through certain materials, they could glow. But these early electric lights were unstable, short-lived, and impractical, often burning out quickly or requiring enormous amounts of power. Yet they hinted at a future where darkness could finally be conquered permanently. And in the 19th century, inventors across Europe and America raced to turn this fragile idea into reality, experimenting endlessly with filaments, glass enclosures, vacuums, and power sources, often failing hundreds or even thousands of times. Because the challenge was not simply to create light, but to create light that was safe, affordable, long-lasting, and practical for everyday use. And among these determined inventors was Joseph Swan, who developed early incandescent lamps using carbonized paper filaments, and demonstrated that electric light could successfully illuminate homes and public spaces, proving to the world that artificial electric light was not a fantasy, but a workable solution. And Swan's achievements inspired others to continue refining the technology, and across the Atlantic, another inventor pursued the same dream with relentless obsession: Thomas Edison, a man often mistakenly credited as the sole inventor of the light bulb, when in reality, his greatest contribution was not invention alone, but perseverance, engineering, and vision. Because Edison understood that a light bulb by itself was meaningless without an entire system to support it, including generators, wiring, switches, and reliable power distribution. And after testing thousands of different filament materials, Edison succeeded in creating a bulb that burned longer and more reliably than previous designs. And more importantly, he built a complete electrical lighting system that could power entire streets and neighborhoods. And when electric lights first illuminated cities, factories, and homes, the impact was immediate and profound. Because darkness no longer dictated the rhythm of human life, and suddenly work could continue after sunset, hospitals became safer, education expanded into the evening hours, and streets once feared at night became active and alive. And the light bulb quietly reshaped human behavior in ways no one could have predicted, altering sleep patterns, productivity, social life, and even how societies measured time, because night was no longer a stopping point, but simply another part of the day. And as electric lighting spread across the world, it became a powerful symbol of progress, modernity, and hope, transforming skylines, enabling nightlife, and changing how humans experience cities. And yet the story of the bulb did not end with incandescent light, because technology continued evolving as engineers sought greater efficiency, durability, and safety, moving from carbon filaments to tungsten, from glowing wires to fluorescent tubes that use gas and phosphorus to produce light with far less energy, and later to light-emitting diodes, or LEDs, which revolutionized lighting once again by producing brighter light using a fraction of the power while lasting exponentially longer, reducing cost, waste, and environmental impact. And with each technological leap, the bulb became more than a tool. It became infrastructure, shaping architecture, transportation, systems, entertainment, and global culture itself, allowing cities to glow like constellations visible from space and enabling human activity to continue around the clock. And yet, for all its technical complexity, the true power of the light bulb lies not in glass, metal, or circuitry, but in what it represents, because it symbolizes humanity's refusal to accept natural limits. The belief that darkness is not destiny, and the courage to experiment, fail, and persist until the impossible becomes ordinary. And when we ask who invented the light bulb, the most honest answer is not a single name or moment, but a long chain of human effort stretching across generations. From ancient firemakers to early scientists studying electricity, from inventors like Joseph Swan and Thomas Edison refining practical solutions, to countless engineers improving and adapting lighting technology over time. And today, in a world filled with glowing screens, illuminated cities, and artificial daylight available at every hour, it is easy to forget how recently humans lived at the mercy of darkness, how frightening nights once were, and how revolutionary it felt to turn night into day. And as we flip a switch without a second thought, light responds instantly, a silent servant born from centuries of curiosity, danger, failure, and imagination, reminding us that some of the most transformative inventions are not loud or dramatic, but steady, reliable, and constant, quietly shaping how we live, work, and dream. And as humanity moves toward a future of smart lighting, renewable energy, and sustainable cities, the bulb remains a powerful symbol of our journey from fear to control, from shadows to clarity, and from darkness to light. Because long after the inventors are forgotten and technologies evolve, the simple act of illumination will continue to define civilization itself, glowing softly in every corner of the world as proof that even the smallest light can change everything. Number 2, invention of alarm clock. Think about it. Every morning, millions of people wake up to the same thing. A scream, a vibration, a piercing electronic cry. The alarm clock. It pulls you out of your dreams. It commands your body to rise. It dictates when your day begins, whether you want it or not. But here's the question most people never ask. Who decided we should wake up this way? And why was this device created in the first place? The truth is much darker than you think. Because the alarm clock was never meant for personal convenience. It was designed to control people, to control time, and to control society itself. This is the dark, surprising, and unbelievable history of the alarm clock. Before alarm clocks ruled our mornings, humans lived by nature. People woke up when sunlight touched their eyelids. Farmers rose with the rooster's call. Life had a rhythm, slow, peaceful, natural. There were no deadlines, no 9-to-5 schedules, no bosses waiting at a factory gate. Time belonged to the individual. People moved with seasons, not with seconds. But everything changed when the world discovered something powerful and dangerous. In the 18th century, giant factories began to rise. Machines replaced hands. Work moved from fields to crowded cities. Production became king. But factory owners had a big problem. Workers still lived by nature's clock. Factories didn't. Machines didn't sleep. Factories didn't rest. Production had to run on rigid, exact schedules. And workers, they needed to show up on time, every day, at the exact same minute. No more waking up naturally. No more listening to birds. Now the machines decided when a human should wake. But how do you force millions of people to obey time? You invent a device that can control when they rise. The first mechanical alarm clock was created in 1847 by a French inventor, Antoine Redier. He wasn't trying to help people wake up peacefully. He was solving a productivity problem. Factory owners needed their workers on the floor exactly at 5 a.m. Not earlier, not later. So Redier created a clock that could ring at a specific time. Not a pleasant sound, a harsh metallic ringing that was impossible to ignore. It wasn't designed to help. It was designed to force. This little machine became a weapon of industrial discipline. For the first time in history, humans were told, "You will wake up now, because the factory demands it." The alarm clock didn't free us. It shackled us. Before mechanical alarms became common, there was a strange, almost dystopian profession in Britain and Ireland. The knock-up. Imagine this. It's 4 a.m., and someone walks the streets with a long stick, tapping on bedroom windows, waking people for work. Some use sticks, some use pebbles, some even use pea shooters to hit windows. These human alarm clocks were paid pennies to ensure workers reached the factory on time. Here is the dark irony. People didn't hire knock-ups because they loved punctuality. They hired them because they feared losing their jobs. Being late meant punishment. Being late meant hunger. Human wake-up calls were not about convenience. They were about survival. And when mechanical alarm clocks finally became cheap enough, the knock-up became unnecessary. The machine replaced the human. And the rule of industrial time became absolute. Once alarm clocks entered homes, everything shifted. Human time became machine time. Factory time. School time. Office time. Society itself was reshaped around strict schedules. Wake at 6. Work at 9. Break at 1. Leave at 5. Sleep at 11. Your entire day was no longer yours. The clock controlled your life. Even the school bell is a version of the alarm clock, training children from a young age to react instantly, to obey schedules, to prepare them for factory office life. The alarm clock didn't just wake people. It trained society. You might not realize this, but the alarm clock changed human biology. Studies today show waking up unnaturally increases stress hormones. Sudden alarms shock the heart. The body enters panic mode when ripped out of sleep. Morning anxiety often starts from alarms. Sleep cycles become unhealthy and fragmented. In the natural world, no animal wakes up the way humans do now. Only humans force themselves awake violently every day. And it all started because factories needed workers at exact times. As time progressed, the alarm clock evolved. Wind-up alarms, electric alarms, digital alarms, phone alarms, smart alarms, vibration alarms, light-based alarms. Each new version became more efficient, more precise, and more controlling. Your phone now tracks when you sleep, when you wake, how long you sleep, how deeply you sleep, and it decides the exact moment to wake you. The alarm clock is no longer a device. It's a system, a routine, a lifestyle. We think we've mastered it, but in a way, it has mastered us. In recent years, people have started questioning the alarm clock system. Why do we wake up to a sudden blast? Why do we follow a schedule designed 200 years ago? Why do we obey the clock more than our own bodies? Millions are now exploring alternatives. Natural wake-up lights, gradual alarms, flexible work hours, remote work, sleep tracking, circadian rhythm routines. For the first time since the Industrial Revolution, humans are reclaiming control. Because we're learning a simple truth. The alarm clock was never meant for human health. It was meant for human productivity. Let's be fair. The alarm clock helped create workforces, cities, modern education, mass production, economic growth, global schedules, public transportation systems. Without it, the modern world wouldn't function. But it also created stress, sleep disorders, heart strain, morning anxiety, lifestyle pressure, loss of natural rhythm. Like many inventions from the Industrial Revolution, the alarm clock gave us progress and also took something away: the freedom to wake naturally. Every morning, when your alarm goes off, you are hearing the echo of a centuries-old system. A sound created not for comfort, but for control. A sound designed to wake workers, not humans. A sound born from factories, not from nature. But today, you have a choice. To let the alarm clock rule you, or to understand why it exists, and take back your time. The history of the alarm clock is not just about an invention. It's about humanity's relationship with time, control, and freedom. And now that you know the truth, maybe tomorrow morning, you will hear your alarm differently. Number 3, invention of radio. We're all it took to shatter silence forever, because the moment the first human voice escaped the limits of wires and traveled invisibly through the air, the world stopped being quiet, isolated, and distant, and instead became connected by something no one could see, touch, or fully understand. And long before music filled cars, news echoed in kitchens, or voices spoke to millions at once. The very idea that sound could fly through empty space felt like magic bordering on madness. Because for nearly all of human history, communication was trapped inside physical limits, bound to the strength of a voice, the speed of a messenger, the endurance of a horse, or the fragile path of written letters, and anything beyond shouting distance belonged to silence. And this story does not begin with entertainment or convenience, but with curiosity, obsession, and a deep human need to reach beyond distance. Because humans have always feared silence as much as darkness and the desire to send a message beyond the horizon has existed for as long as civilization itself, from smoke signals and drums to carrier pigeons and signal fires, all early attempts to defeat distance. Yet none carried the human voice itself. And when the telegraph arrived in the 19th century, it changed the world by allowing messages to travel faster than any human or animal, but it stripped communication down to dots and dashes. Efficient yet emotionless, precise yet silent. And while it revolutionized industry and warfare, it still left humanity longing for something more natural, more human, the sound of a real voice traveling freely. And it was within this gap between silent signals and living sound that the dream of radio was born, a dream to send not symbols but voices, not pulses but emotion, not messages but presence. And this dream began taking shape as scientists slowly realized that the air itself was not empty but filled with invisible waves, electromagnetic vibrations traveling constantly through space. And early thinkers theorized that if these waves could be controlled, they could carry information without wires. And in the late 19th century, this idea moved from theory into experiment as inventors across Europe and America began playing with sparks, coils, antennas, and receivers, often without fully understanding the forces they were awakening. And among the many minds exploring this invisible world was Nikola Tesla, who envisioned wireless communication and demonstrated radio-based experiments years before the technology was commercially viable, believing that information itself could be broadcast through the earth and air. And although Tesla's work laid crucial theoretical foundations, the race to turn wireless signals into practical communication intensified. And it was an Italian inventor named Guglielmo Marconi who succeeded in transforming scattered experiments into a working system of wireless telegraphy. And in the 1890s, Marconi proved that radio waves could travel long distances, first across fields, then across the sea, and eventually across the Atlantic Ocean, a moment that stunned the world and proved that messages no longer needed wires to survive. And although Marconi's early radio could only transmit coded signals, not sound, it marked the birth of radio as a practical technology, and slowly engineers refined transmitters and receivers, learning how to stabilize signals, amplify waves, and tune frequencies. And as the 20th century began, radio shifted from laboratory curiosity into global infrastructure, becoming essential for ships at sea, military communication, and emergency signaling, saving countless lives and redefining navigation and warfare. Yet the true revolution came when radio stopped transmitting codes and began transmitting voices. Because when the first human speech and music traveled through the air, radio transformed from a technical achievement into a cultural force, and suddenly, Communication was no longer one-to-one, but one-to-many. A single voice capable of reaching thousands, then millions simultaneously, and in the early 1920s the first public radio broadcasts emerged, filling the air with music, news, and spoken words, and families gathered around bulky wooden receivers, leaning in as if listening to a living presence trapped inside a box. And radio did something no technology had ever done before. It created shared time, moments where entire nations listened to the same voice at the same instant, collapsing distance not visually as television would later do, but emotionally, through sound alone. And during this golden age, radio became the heartbeat of society, delivering entertainment, education, weather, sports, and breaking news directly into homes, shaping language, accents, humor, and imagination, because radio demanded participation, forcing listeners to visualize stories, scenes, and characters in their minds, turning audiences into active creators of meaning. And its power soon became undeniable to governments and leaders who realized that radio could unify nations or manipulate them, inspire hope or spread fear. And during times of crisis, radio became the most trusted companion of humanity, especially during war, when radio carried speeches that lifted morale, news that shaped perception, and warnings that saved lives. And for soldiers far from home and families waiting in fear, radio was a lifeline, a human voice cutting through uncertainty. And figures like Franklin Roosevelt, with his fireside chats, demonstrated how radio could create intimacy between leaders and citizens, making power sound personal and reassuring. And as radio technology improved with clearer signals, better microphones, and wider coverage, it spread rapidly across the globe, crossing borders without passports, carrying music styles, cultural ideas, and political messages into places that had never experienced such connection. And radio helped create global culture long before the internet existed, introducing jazz, classical music, drama, comedy, and storytelling to millions who might never have seen a stage or concert hall. And yet radio's dominance was eventually challenged by a new invention that added images to sound: television, which shifted attention from imagination to vision, and many believed radio would disappear. But instead, radio adapted, retreating from living rooms into cars, workplaces, and personal spaces, becoming more intimate rather than less. And with the rise of FM radio, sound quality improved, music flourished, and radio became the soundtrack of daily life, accompanying commutes, work, and solitude. And even as digital technology emerged and streaming platforms reshaped media, radio continued evolving, transforming into podcasts, online broadcasts, and satellite radio, proving that the human connection created by voice alone remains powerful regardless of medium. And when we ask who invented radio, the answer, like so many great inventions, is complex and shared, because radio was not the work of one man or one moment, but a chain of discovery, with Nikola Tesla imagining wireless communication, Guglielmo Marconi making it practical, and countless engineers, scientists, and broadcasters turning invisible waves into a living global network. And today, in a world filled with screens, algorithms, and endless images, radio remains uniquely intimate, requiring no eyes, no light, no visual distraction, only listening. And its legacy is not just technological, but emotional, because radio taught humanity how to listen across distance, how to trust unseen voices, and how to feel connected.